Hey y'all, welcome back to Elegant Blooms by Emma, and today we are going to be kind of talking about garden preparations and why prepping your garden for your summer vegetables, flowers, whatever you're planting is so important. And then I'm going to show you guys how we plant our potatoes, because potatoes need planted pretty early in the season because they are a cold crop. So now let's talk about garden preparations. We do two things in our garden to kind of prep it for the coming summer months where there are going to be a bunch of vegetables being produced from the garden. So what we do, as you can see in this video, we spread manure throughout our whole garden. We are fortunate enough to have pigs that eat a lot and then poop a lot, and we are able to use their manure to be able to put onto our garden to give the dirt more nutrients that it needs in order to grow bigger vegetables and produce more, basically. And basically what we do, we get this little blue tractor that we have and scoop up all of the poop that we can and put it in our little old manure spreader, and then my other younger brother will go to the garden and spread it, and I'll show that in a minute. I'm really fortunate that I have younger brothers that love driving tractors because they help me do this, because if it was just me doing this, I would not be able to do it as quickly as we were able to do it. So they helped out a lot. But basically, if you are wanting to produce more vegetables, more flowers, anything like that, I highly recommend using manure, because we have seen a huge increase in our produce from putting manure onto our garden. And if you have anything from chickens to pigs to ducks to anything like that, all that manure is going to be so good for your garden. So here we're taking some of the chicken crap from our coop and putting it into the manure spreader as well to spread that into our garden.
So now Andrew's starting to spread all of the manure. Here is our garden. It is a pretty big one. And he's going to spread all of the manure around the whole garden. So here he goes.
If you do not have any animals on your farm, whether you live in the city, country, suburbs, wherever you live, and you have a big or small garden, no matter what, if you do not have animals that produce manure, I highly recommend searching up some farms near you that have animals and see if they would be willing to give you some manure that they have, because I bet you a bunch of farmers don't want a big pile of poop laying on the side of their barn or wherever they put it. So they will probably be very happy to get rid of it. So just ask around, see if you know anyone who has any manure, and get that on your garden, raised beds, whatever you have. Even if it's raised beds, still mix some of this manure into the soil, because it's really going to benefit the produce that you get from your garden. Last year we put some manure in one section where we planted all our broccoli, and we literally got broccoli heads that were the size of our head. Like, our broccoli was like 2-3 times the size of our hands. Like, it was crazy. It got so big, and we were able to have an abundance of broccoli that year. So that is why we are spreading it throughout the whole garden this year, because we're hoping that it'll help produce a lot more vegetables, because the dirt is getting more nutrients mixed in with it. So it is able to give the plant more nutrients, and then the plant is able to produce more vegetables and fruit. So now Andrew is finishing up doing the last couple passes for the manure spreading, and then we're going to get into tilling. So if you have any garden, whether it's big like this one, more of a smaller scale one, or even raised beds, you're going to want to do some type of groundwork.
big garden, and yeah, it's really big. We have out in our meadow, and basically, here, let me show you guys where everything's gonna be. So basically what we do every year is cut the garden kind of in half down the middle. So roughly around here will be like half of the garden. So on this side, a fourth of this side will be a bunch of potatoes, and then the other half will be room for things like broccoli, carrots, onions, okra, things like that. And then when we cut it down half, and this side, a fourth of it will be for flowers, and then a fourth of it will be for tomatoes and peppers. So that's kind of the layout of how our garden is going to be this year.
So now we're going to kind of talk about tilling and why we till / work our ground in our garden. So basically the reason we do this is to get the soil, the dirt, whatever you want to call it, ready for planting basically. So the soil has been dormant in the cold winter months. It's just gotten snowed on or frozen, things like that. And so the dirt is really kind of clumpy in the spring, I would say. So that's kind of why we till our garden. If you have a big garden like ours, I highly recommend investing in some type of tiller like this or hiring someone to till your garden, because like you see here, it will help your soil, your dirt, get less clumpy. You might have to go through it a couple times depending on your dirt type, what your soil is where you live, but I highly recommend, if you have a big garden, doing this. If you have more of a smaller scale garden, you might not need one that is pulled behind a tractor. They have a bunch that you can push manually, or you can even use just a garden hoe or a garden rake to just work that soil really good and get all of the clumps out, so then our plants are able to grow properly and not have to fight for good soil and not compete with all those clumps. And another reason it's helpful is to get all your rocks out. In one moment, you're going to see right there, the tiller moves, and what it's doing is it hit a rock, and that rock is getting tilled up and coming to the surface, and then we're going to be able to find those rocks as we're planting and get them out of our garden. We have very rocky soil, rocky dirt here where we live in Indiana. So that is one big reason why we do it. We probably find about 10 to 20 to sometimes 30 rocks a year in our garden because it is so rocky, and tilling the garden helps bring those rocks to the surface, so then we're able to get them out of there, because you don't want your plants competing for the dirt with rocks. So that's another reason why we till and work our garden.
Okay, go.
Okay, now for the fun part. We're going to talk about how to plant potatoes. So you're going to take whatever variety you have. We have red and Yukon Gold varieties, and you're going to want to cut your potatoes into fourths or halves. If it's a big potato, cut it into fourths. If it's like a smaller potato, just cut it into halves. Like that one was kind of smaller, so we only cut it in half. And you're going to want to make sure that you keep the eyes on the potatoes, because that is literally going to be what sprouts your potatoes and what grows your potatoes. So the next, you're going to want to get either a plow or a hoe to mark your rows. We have this plow that goes on the back of our tractor, and actually we have to use a person in order for it to like get down properly, because it doesn't have enough weight on it. So we just kind of rotate who gets to be the weight on the plow. But then basically with your plow or hoe, you're going to want to make rows that are about 8 to 10 inches deep, maybe about 10 to 12 more. Oh, side note, here's these rocks. We found these rocks in the garden from tilling, so we had to throw them out. But yeah, you're gonna want to make your rows. We leave about 2.5 to 3 feet between each row, and then you literally plow your row or use a hoe to mark your rows. And then you're going to get your bucket, or you really don't have to do this part. This is just how we do it, is we all have our own bucket full of potatoes and then we plant them. That's just how we do it. You can take this whole crate or whatever you have your potatoes in and set it out in the garden and literally like walk with it down the rows. It really does not matter. And then when you plant them, you're going to want about 8 to 10 inches between, maybe 8 to 12, depending on how far you want your potatoes. This is just kind of what we do. We just walk along it, using our feet as kind of a guide in planting them. I have smaller feet, like really tiny feet, so that's why I'm kind of planting the potato more in front of my feet. But Andrew, my other younger brother, he has really big feet, so he like plants his like right in front of his foot, as you can see right there, because he has such big feet. But I have smaller ones, so I kind of space them out a little better because I don't want to plant them too close. But yeah, you just go down your whole row and you plant it like this. Oh, there's a little gift that Sarah Beth put in the ground. And yeah, basically you just repeat this process with whatever varieties you have, whatever potatoes you have, and until you're done. Basically, that's what you do. Here's another rock that we found that got brought up to the surface because we tilled the garden. This is literally the main reason that we till it, because we find rocks like this that are deep down in the soil. Oh, there's our cats. Yeah, so then when you're done, you're going to take a rake, a hoe, whatever you have, and basically cover the potatoes. And you want to make sure that you don't need to hill them yet. A lot of people talk about hilling potatoes, but you do not do that yet. All you're going to do is get the ground kind of level like this. You can kind of see that we raked it out to level. That's what you want to do, is make it level. You see how he's using that hoe. You can also do that. Andrew finds it easier to do it backwards. Try it and see, but you just want to make sure that you cover the potatoes and you make it level with the whole garden, because they're not ready to get hilled yet. You have to make sure that they're sprouted and tall enough before you hill them. But yeah, so that is how you plant potatoes. Basically, it's really not that hard. And that's also our garden preparations. So if you have any questions, leave me a comment. And thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe to follow along. And Jesus loves you. Bye-bye, guys.